Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Strong Women Series. First of all, it is 2021. I'm so happy to be here. Happy to be with one of my best friends. She's actual real best friend here. She was in my wedding party. Her name is Monique Brown. Hey, girl.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm so happy to have you here. You look amazing. For those of you who don't know Monique, she is an incredible, like just leader, servant of God. She's actually was one of my first leaders when I first started serving at church. She kind of scooped me up under her wing.
I did. I stole you.
Showed me the way. Yeah, she stole me. That's a better way to say it. And you know, she's also an artist. I'm gonna call you an artist because you didn't say
that's a little bit of a stretch, but okay.
Yeah, I can't do what you do. I'm sitting there. I don't have the what's it called, like being as meticulous as you are with those little things. But she does something called diamond painting, which I hope that she'll tell us a little bit more about. And we'll put the account so you can follow her there. But Mo, thank you so much for saying yes. Thank you for being on this. How are you? How have you been? How's 2021?
Well, I mean, in light of everything that's happened today, so far so good, I guess. I've been good. This season has been interesting, obviously, for so many of us, but for me specifically, just like the positioning and the things that I've been able to do, like despite of being in quarantine and everything like that. So I'm good. I'm blessed. I'm happy to be here. It's interesting how I can like geek over my own friends because like I've been like following this from afar and being like, I'm so proud of her, my little baby. So I'm so grateful that you asked me to be a part of this. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it.
Of course, girl, I'm excited to hear, well, for everybody else to hear, because I know, but
I'm about to say, you kind of know.
But we're going to get started with the way that I always start these things, which is like learning a little bit about your name. I know you as Mo. That's what I call you. I won't tell everybody what you're in on my phone as. We won't go there. But you are Mo, but your name, of course, is Monique. But tell us a little bit about your name. Do you love it? Do you like it? Do you have a story behind it? Do you not? Tell me about it.
Yeah, I love my name. It's super unique. It's interesting. I had a bit of a complex about my name when I was growing up because my family name is Nini. Everyone calls me Nini. My grandma, everybody, my dad, everybody called me Nini for a long time. So that's always what I kind of answered to. And I knew that I was in really big trouble when they used Monique. So I was just like, so like for a long time, I was just like, can we use something else? Because I usually associate that when I'm in trouble. But no, seriously, I do. I love my name. It's French for Monica, the French derivative of Monica. And it actually means advisor, which if you know me, like if anyone knows me, they know that that's like a lot of my friends kind of come to me for like advice, or it's like, oh, I just need to talk it out for a second. I'm just like, okay, all right, I'm here, let's go.
Yeah.
And then interestingly enough, we were in Connect group like maybe a few years ago, and my middle name is Takia. So my full name is Monique Takia Brown. And the story that I always knew about my middle name was that my mom's name is Terrain, and then my godmom's name is Kia. So they just put it together to make Takia. So I was like, that was just always the story that they came up. But then we were in Connect group and we were talking about names. And so it kind of just got me curious. So I just Googled it or whatever. And I got on this baby site, and it actually is Arabic for worshiper. And I was like, what? like I had no idea at all. I'm thinking that this is some made up name or whatever, but it's a real for real name, or a real name or a meaning, and it means worshiper. And like, again, if anyone knows me, I'm kind of like a worship gangster. I gotta go all in during worship. So
pause right here because I need to paint the picture for everybody who is watching right now. But back in the day, I don't know if you guys remember this, but churches used to actually meet in buildings and in spaces. This was a thing.
Right. It was a thing.
And we used to meet in a theater, and hundreds of people, hundreds and hundreds of people, and the countdown would start going on, the clock, and the amp music, and you could count on hearing Mo just clapping so loud and doing her little, I won't scream into the mic because it'll be, but just, and you came to expect that as part of the service. Like, I remember one time that you weren't there, maybe you had a wedding or something, and I was like, something's wrong, what's happening? Why didn't I hear it? Something's up. So yes, I can attest to the fact that you go all in during worship.
Yes, that is me. I used to be a little bit embarrassed about that, but then I was just like, no, my mom, whatever, let it fly. Like,
in the atmosphere. I love it. That's incredible. I actually didn't know that about your middle name. I didn't know what your first name meant either, but I didn't even know that you had a middle name.
Oh, we call each other best friends and you didn't know I had a middle name?
Friend. Please don't judge me and my level of friendship by this, guys.
No, it's okay. Best friend has zero to do about knowing every little detail about yourself. Like, this girl has been with me through some of the craziest things in my life, I swear. So
honestly, I want to take this moment before we get into the thing just to say, like, I have been blessed with some incredible friendships in my life. You are definitely one of them. And, I've mentioned this before in spaces, but, I needed to be taught really what it meant to sustain great friendships. I've always had good people in my life and good girls and all of that stuff, but I needed to be taught what it meant to, like, really hold it up. And you were one of those people that helped me to learn that. So thank you so much for taking the time with me to do that. But cool. Hey, let's jump into your story a little bit. Tell me a little bit about what your walk with God has been like, your journey to this point.
Yeah. So I've known about God my whole life, right? Like, I lived in South Carolina until I was about 8. And so when we were living in South Carolina, we actually didn't like attend church, but my grandma, so my mom's mom, was actually like a minister. So she was like an ordained minister for a good while. And my mom grew up in the AME church. Like, so it was embedded in us. So even though she actually wasn't, like, she was away from the church for about 10 years. So even though we weren't actually like attending services frequently, like, we still played gospel music. We were still very much influenced by Jesus and, by his word and stuff like that. So we moved up here, like I said, when I was 8. My brother at the time was living up here with my granny, and we had been making these trips, like, every month to come see him. But then my mom finally made the decision. She was just like, you know what, we're gonna just move up here. She kind of just basically took like a whim and was just like, you know what, I want to be next to my son. I want my family to be together. I'm taking a chance. I'm moving. And so we packed up everything and we moved to Jersey. And then soon after, we had a family church that we were all going to. My uncle was the pastor, and so she joined church right after we came. So after that, my life basically, so beforehand, it was not knowing much about church or whatever the case may be, to like actually being inundated with it. So I was in church every week. I served. I was an usher. So I was in the white with the stockings, and I was that with the gloves. Yes, that was me. We were at Bible study, prayer meeting, youth. I was in the choir, like, basically since I was 8. Like, I did everything. So yeah, so I knew about God like basically my whole life, right? So grew up as a church kid, and it was great. Like, those are moments that were super pivotal to me in my walk, because even beforehand, so like when I was making the visits initially, I would always go to church at like this same church, like with my grandma. And so I always loved it. I loved the atmosphere of church. I loved the music. I loved the word. I was like one of those kids that was like super enthralled. Like, I'm taking notes. Like, this is great. Like, um, so I basically been a part of that church up until I graduated from high school. And so as you do, like, life happens, like, you start to, get around crowds, like you're growing up more. I had a couple of like very interesting revelations that kind of like opened up some things about me. So I met my real biological dad when I was 13. So I was actually going into high school and stuff like that. And so the first initial meetings were great. And, I was really actually looking forward to getting to know him and getting to have like a real relationship. But it actually didn't really pan out the way that I thought. And so that really affected me in a lot of ways, and affected my self-esteem and how I saw myself, not necessarily as somebody who was wanted or someone who wanted to actually like initiate like, conversation or anything like that. I was still in church. I was still kind of like, pursuing a relationship with God, or at least what I thought was my own relationship with God at that moment. But again, life happens, you get in relationships, you do all the things. And so I think the straw that kind of broke the camel's back and was when I graduated from high school. And at the time I was like, it's like very pivotal. Like, you're like, oh my God, I want to, there's so many things I want to do. Like, I'm going to go to college, I'm going to meet new friends. And I was really like looking for that fresh start. However, due to my family's financial situation, I was unable to go. And so that really affected me in a sense, because I felt like I was kind of being left out. I was really looking forward to a fresh start. I was really looking forward to making and meeting new friends. High school wasn't the easiest for me. It was very inconsistent with like school, like with my school grades, and just overall like my friend group, even though I did like eventually like have like a good tight knit friend group by the end of it. Getting there was just really tumultuous, and like, a lot of hurts, a lot of relationship hurts, all the things. So I was just really looking for a fresh start, and to not necessarily have that opportunity really, like, it got me down like a lot. And so in conjunction with that, I actually started to work. So like that, my first job was like right out of the high school, because like, I couldn't just be sitting in my mama's house just not doing nothing. So I got a job at CVS and I stayed there for 4 years. But that first year, I started working on Sundays. So basically all of my friends, like all of my Christian friends that I had met in school, they were all gone to college doing the discovery thing. I wasn't really too close with my friends at church. And so I was literally just like here by myself for like a year. And so I didn't have anyone to really kind of like push me or egg me on or even want to. So I kind of, I basically was like in a bit of depression for a while. Like I read books, like I read a bunch of books, and I didn't really do much of anything like outside of just working and going home. And so that was basically my life for a year. And so fast forward to 2013, it was about like maybe the spring or summer of 2013. A really good friend of mine at the time had came back from school, and so we had reconnected. Like we didn't really talk a lot like when she was down there her first semester, and so we were just talking, and we ended up reconnecting again. And she really actually sparked my my walk again, because again, like I didn't necessarily have that, again, like my parents and everyone was still going to church and like doing all this stuff, but to have somebody your age that was kind of going through the similar transitions that you were going through and stuff, it really helped. And I didn't have that at the time, but she ended up being that for me. And so she was going through some stuff during that time as well. And so we just really confided into each other, and we were able to kind of really be an encouragement to each other during that time. And so we reconnected. We like became really fast friends. We were, you know, basically like we were sisters like for the longest time. And so we one night, so she used to host these impromptu Bible studies at her house. Like she did it all the time. It was just a good way for like some of our high school clique to kind of get together, to talk, to kind of figure, like, you know, see how each other was doing. And then she would, like, you know, we would like crack open the word and like get into it. And so I remember that night just being super like a low point for me, because at the time I was in the midst of a breakup, or contemplating a breakup, which eventually happened, trying to figure out what I wanted to do in my life. Like I was kind of just seeing everything and was like, wow, I'm really going to be stuck at CBS for the rest of my life. Like, is this what the sum of my life is going to be equated to? Like being here and being in a relationship that I didn't really like necessarily want to be in anymore, that I didn't really feel like was even like was doing it for me. And I was just I was just feeling just super down, just a low point. I was just like, well, this is just my life. Welcome to Monique's life. Hello. And so I just confided in her. She dropped me off home that night, and I was like sobbing. I was like, girl, like I really genuinely had zero idea what life was going to take me next. And so she was like, I'm going to give you these 3 songs. And I was just like, okay, like, because that's the last thing I want to do is to listen to songs because I'm lamenting about how sucky my life is. Like, but she gave me these 3 songs, and one of them happened to be Aftermath by Hillsong United. And I listened to the words of those songs, and obviously now I know it was the Holy Spirit, but you know, telling the story before, like I would be like, I don't know what it was, but I just was just so enveloped by God in those moments. And the lyrics of that song was just so comforting to me. And so it just impacted me so much. And I just remember saying that night, I was like, God, I really genuinely don't have any plan for my life. I don't know where this is going to take me, but if whatever you're saying in this song is really true, if you really do believe those things about me, then I will follow you wherever you go. And that night I was like, I'm making a declaration. I'm coming back to you, Jesus. Like I'm really committed to this journey. And so that was July 23rd, 2013 that I made that decision. And I've been following Jesus ever since.
I think it's so incredible. One, you know, talking about community, having someone to actually be able to confide in. And then also, I think sometimes we play down the importance of music and like worship. And, you know, it's funny because you say you remember like that song Aftermath. And then I remember a song that played the first time that I went back to church too. And I remember actually, I wasn't really feeling any of the music. I was like, what is this? Turn this off. I don't want to hear this music. But there was a lyric that stood out to me, and I wrote it down. And so when I go back and look at my journals, I can still see that. And I was like, wow, it's crazy how even though I wasn't enjoying the music, something still kind of spoke to me in a different way to the depths of my soul. And so I love that kind of sparks it for you. And it makes so much sense now too, why you just jump into worship so hard the way that you do, you know?
It's interesting because like I've always been a lover of music. Like I have such an eclectic taste. Like that has always been for a lot of my my friends, like the connecting point between us, right? Like oh, you listen to that band, or oh, you listen to that artist. Like I love music. And so to have that be the thing that brought me back in is just super special. And like you were saying, like the lyrics, like there's just something about lyrics that are written so eloquently that just capture you in a way that you're like you can't ignore that happened, like that you heard that. And for me, that line in the song that I love so much is like towards the end, and it says, for all I have, I'll count it all as loss. but to know you and to carry your cross, knowing that I'm found in the light of the aftermath. And I like even now saying it, like I got chills down my spine. I was like, oh my God. Yeah. But it's so that has been a that has just been the song of my life, or the lyric of my life, in the sense of like God, like everything that I have, like everything that you have given me, or everything that I've amassed, like is literally means nothing to me if I don't have you, if I can't carry the burdens that you carry, if I can't fight for the people that you fight for, if I can't be the one that champions people, like it literally means nothing. And so I'm just so grateful that, you know, a song was the thing that got me back. I love community. I love to be able to help people. Like I think that's a part of like my ministry. I feel like is helping people. Like that's why I do customer service. I think that's why I've stayed in customer service for so long. It's just because like to be able to help someone, even if it's just a little bit, gives me so much joy. So to be able to do life with people, you know, we talk about it all the time. Like life is literally not meant to be done by yourself. Like life is hard when you try to do it by yourself. And so I learned that through my year of kind of isolation, like what it looks like when people isolate themselves, and how my life completely changed when just one person came in and helped me along. And then, you know, eventually when I found Hillsong, like, you know, to be able to literally be like thrown into just this rich community of people who love you, who genuinely love you and genuinely want the best for you, and are just like yo, like you can do this, and they champion you so much. It's like your life literally does change. So I'm such a huge proponent, and if anyone out there is like contemplating community, like no, do it.
So much of it is who you surround yourself with. And you know, I think that there was a really special space. You know, I miss you guys so much there, for people who actually, you know, genuinely wanted to know you, wanted to love on you, wanted to walk you through. So yeah. I'm always grateful for that. I think you started kind of speaking to some of this in terms of like your purpose, and I know that you have such a heart for helping others. And you know, I noticed that right from the beginning too. And I think you might have only been like 22, 21. Were you even 21 when I met you? 22?
Yeah, I was 20, 21, 22.
Yeah, you were a baby. I remember you being a baby, and I was like, look at this girl being so young and leading like a boss. And, you know, I could tell that you had such a passion for what you were doing, you know, and we weren't getting paid, we were just serving, but you had such a heart for it. And, you know, I think in a lot of ways, a lot of the leadership, a lot of the way that I lead too was, you know, very much influenced about your love for it, your passion for it in those beginning times too. But what I want to kind of ask you is, you know, talk to me a little bit about how you have chosen, or how God has put it on your heart to work out, you know, that passion in you, that mission with you. And, you know, just tell me a little bit about some of the things that you are involved with and that you do.
Yeah, so it changes a lot. Like I feel like it changed so much. So in the beginning, when I first started attending Hillsong, I was literally just serving, and I would serve. I was at everything. Like I was a part of like 3 different connect groups. Like I was in 4 volunteer teams. Like I just like threw myself in everywhere, wherever the help was needed. I just kind of I just jumped in and was just like, okay, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm sure you'll teach me. So just, you know, tell me what I need to do. So in the beginning was definitely like focused mainly on volunteering at church. And like, that's like really where the bulk of ministry life for me is. I've served on a number of different teams. We served together on midweek. We did host together. Most recently, now I help look after our City Hope team. And so City Hope is the part of our church that actually helps to outwork our community ministry. So, you know, going into, you know, partnering with organizations that help combat homelessness, helps with where we work with food pantries and just wherever the community is hurting and there's a need, that's where we are. And I love it so much. Shout out to City Hope. Okay, that team, we just had like probably one of the most epic campaigns ever, and I'm still kind of like reeling from that, but all to them. But that's actually where I am right now, and that's where like my passions are. And so we're in the midst of kind of planning out what 2021 looks like for us. Like I said before, we had, despite the pandemic, we had probably one of our best years yet, in the sense of what we've been able to accomplish. We adopted about 5 hospitals to give food to frontline workers and hospital admins who have been like really struggling in the midst of a global pandemic. We were able to, facilitate food for senior citizens or underprivileged individuals or families through Tony's Kitchen. We've been able to help with fundings and things for after school programs. We work with another incredible organization called MESH, which is Montclair Emergency Services for the Homeless. And so they literally give meals to our homeless community every single day. And when it gets under a certain temperature, they actually help to house them. And so obviously it looks a little bit different now with the pandemic. And so they've had to get a little bit more creative in their, in how they operate and stuff like that. But we've just been able to come alongside of them in a way that we haven't been able to do before. And it's just been such an incredible thing to see what God has like really done, and what doors he's opened for us to be able to really be the church outside of the 4 walls of the church, which is it's crazy because I've served on City Hope now. I think this will probably be my 2nd or 3rd year, I think. And what we were doing before was incredible. We would put on these like amazing drives and our church would really show up. But I've been able to see people like show up and like actually want to, like, for the longest time we were obviously cultivating these relationships with our organizations and stuff. So there was a bit of a lull period that we were kind of doing stuff, but people, man, are just like, yo, when are we serving again? Like, can I want to get out there. And I'm like, I hear you, I know, I'm working on it. But people are really passionate about that. So to be able to help facilitate that passion for people to be able to give back, even in the midst of the world seemingly falling apart.
I love that you're doing this. And I think, man, it's not a small thing at all. Like it just really isn't. It's so important to be doing this in this like outreach aspect and, actually meeting the needs of people. I think we are in a culture that has bought into this idea that advocacy and being there for people is just posting something online. Yes, I'm coming for people right now.
Come, girl.
The reality is that we need to stop all of the talking and start actually helping people. That's how we get the gospel out there. It's not. It's not through your cute, snarky tweet about how smart you think you are because how you interpreted a particular verse or whatever the case maybe is. It's helping people. The gospel has always been the same. The gospel does not change. There's a lot of people kind of making this like reality something else, okay? And at the end of the day, we have to come back to what's written because the gospel has not changed.
It's interesting to me because I feel like us Christians sometimes overcomplicates everything. Yeah. And it's like, if you really genuinely read and like try not to like put in your 2 cents or what you think you understand from it and just basically read what it's saying, like, you know, Jesus, I always come back to this, but it's like Jesus was the you know, the Pharisees and the religious people of the day were asking Jesus like, oh, what are the most important commandments, right? Being like extra like, you know, ooh, what are the things trying to get him trip him up basically. And he said, serve the Lord your God with all of your heart, with all of your soul, and to love your neighbor as yourself. Yeah. He said those are the two most important things, is to love God and love people. Like, it doesn't get any simpler than that. And to be able to for people to try to make it super complicated, like, I think that frustrates me more than anything. Is like, when I see people who I know would be so like if you just knew Jesus, but because they've had experiences where people told them, well, you have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in order to get to this to this place. I'm like, come on, like, let's not make this complicated for people to get. Let's actually show them what it really means to be Christians, to like show them how simple it is, even for me, like to be able to just sit at Jesus's feet and say, okay, God, what do you want? What are we doing today? And he's just like, well, this is what we're doing. We're loving people. So the spaces that I occupy, I try more than anything to make sure that the people know that, listen, like, you don't have to do anything in order to receive this love. Like, you are already loved. And if where you are and where I am, like, if the only thing that I've done for you is just to let you know that you're loved, that you're cared for, that you're valued, my job as a leader is done. Like, literally done. I don't like, there's no extras, there's no like numbers, even though the numbers are important. It shows that, you know, the impact that we're having on people. But what I am saying is that, you know, the one is the thing that's always on Jesus's mind all the time, is that one person. And if I can impact one person through my ridiculous antics or my crazy expressive worship, or just basically seeing them, then I've done my job.
Yeah. I love it so much. And, you know, I want to encourage, you know, you to, if you're out there and you're feeling frustration right now, and I get it, man, there is so much to be frustrated about, so much to be overwhelmed with. I get that. But I promise you, you will feel better when you go into action and start helping people.
Yeah.
Just start helping people. People have real needs right now. There are so many needs to be met right now. So the thing that you feel the most frustrated and angry about, could it be that that's the one area that God is calling you to be a solution? Not to be another mouthpiece, but to be an actual solution, to meet the need where it's at. And so step back a moment and ask, God, what can I do to actually help someone with whatever it is that I've been given in my hand? And we've all been given something. We've all been given something. And it's not your MacBook and your phone and your thing, okay? So that's my little, you know, when we're recording this, something specific is happening right now, but by the time this airs, you guys will probably be like, what's going on? Or they'll be new something.
Like, what they talking about?
What are they talking about?
Shading over there.
Yes, but, you know, honestly, I think we just have to come back and remember like the heart of God. And if it feels difficult to love your enemy, hear me when I say this. If it feels difficult to love your enemy, the answer is to spend more time with Jesus.
Yeah.
That's the answer. Spend more time with Jesus. So thank you so much for the work that you're doing with this. I do want to shout out one quick thing before we close today, which is that you have started another account, and it is like kind of chronicling your journey through diamond painting, which I had never heard of until you showed it to me. Yeah. And it's beautiful. I know for a fact that I don't have the patience for it, but I can enjoy it. So really quickly, just tell me what it is, or tell us what it is for those who don't know. And then you can shout out your account. We'll put it beneath your name too, so that people can follow if you're interested.
Yeah. So quick story how I discovered it. It was one of those Instagram made me do it things. So
Stories like that.
it's always Instagram. It's always Instagram. So I was on Instagram like at the start of the pandemic. I was just like, well, I need to figure out something to do. And so I seen the ad like 3 times and I was just like, okay, if I see it the third time, then I'm gonna have to do it. I'm peer pressured. Instagram peer pressured me to buy this. So I bought my first kit. I didn't know it was coming from China. So I was like, oh, great. So, wait a month. Interestingly enough, the week that the kit came in was actually the week that my grandmother passed away. Wow. And so God knew I'm gonna accredit this to God because why not? He knew that I was gonna need a distraction or something to take my mind off of the grief and everything that was happening in my life. So that's actually how I discovered it. But essentially, what diamond painting is a cross between paint by numbers and cross stitching. So you have these resins, which we call them drills, but they're your diamonds essentially. And then you receive a canvas. And that canvas has symbols that correlate to the specific color of your diamonds. And you have like a little stylus thing, and you literally just plot them out, and then they create a beautiful picture. that's literally all it is. But I've always been a super crafty person. Like I always like secretly wanted to be super creative, but like I don't have a creative bone in my body. Like I'm just
not true.
That is very true.
That's not true. First of all, this diamond painting is creative. Secondly, you also do makeup. That's creative. Those are creative things.
It is very creative. I guess if that's what you want to like say, it's creative. But I started doing it. So like the minute I got it and I started doing it, I was like, okay, I'm hooked. So literally like hundreds of dollars later, shout out to my job for keeping me through the pandemic because I've spent so much money on these, but it's been so relaxing. It's a craft that I can do. That you don't have to necessarily think about it. Like, at most you have to just make sure that you're plotting them in the correct spaces, but you literally can just go to town and like, it was a way for me to relax and to get my mind off of, obviously the grief, but then even after that, just, whatever the day was, like if it was super stressful, if I was just lamenting the fact that I was once again in the house, like whatever it was, like I was able to just for a couple of hours just get my mind off of it, and then it turned out to be like a beautiful painting at the end of the day. And so I'd always documented my the progress that I did on the paintings and stuff like that. And so I was just like, you know what, I probably should kind of like put it out there for people, I think. And I'm usually never this bold. Like I'm very kind of like to myself. I'm very kind of like,
you don't post all that often.
Huh?
You don't post on your like personal Instagram account that often either.
I don't. I actually recently just like archived like a bunch of stuff. Like, so now there's only like 4 pictures on there. So I don't. And so so then I was just like, you know what, Mo, like at most you'll probably get maybe 5 or 6 5 or 6 like followers, and now we're almost close to 200. So yeah, so I've been working. I'm documenting my 3rd painting on there right now. So you can follow my progress at justmo_DP, D as in David, P as in Paul, or diamond painting, whatever one you want to use. And it's just super fun to be able to just see it. And now I get to we've built like kind of a cool community of other people who diamond paint, so I get to like watch other people's progress on stuff, and we do like super cool events. Like we're doing an Alice in a Winter Wonderland event, so we have to do an Alice in Wonderland themed painting. So it's super fun. It's cool. It's fun.
Very cool. I love it. So yeah, if you guys are interested in that, make sure to go check out her work. And Mo, thank you so much for coming and talking with me and sharing your life with me in general, but also today on camera.
So I didn't have a choice.
You always had a choice.
Me.
Love you so much. Thank you so much for today. And for everyone else who's watching, thank you for sticking with me, for watching, for subscribing, for liking, for commenting, for all of it. I love the fact that I get to do this, to talk with people. So go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Follow on Instagram at strongwomen_of_God. And hey, if you want to talk to me, if you want to tell me your story, shoot me a DM. Let me know. I'm always looking to meet new women.
Drop in that DM.
Let me know. All right. We love you. And until next time, take care, y'all.
Bye.